Hi, I'm Dr. Keith Graham from the School of Teacher Education at National Taiwan Normal University. Welcome to my office hours. It is well known that there is a wide spectrum of English language abilities in Taiwanese public schools. On one end, you have students who can only say very basic words and phrases, while on the other end, you have students who can comfortably give an oral report. This reality is the likely motivation of today's question. The teacher asks, how can I do bilingual education if there are so many English levels in my class? The answer to this question is, of course, differentiation. But I guess the real question you have is how to do differentiation. Let's first establish a common definition for differentiation. To me, differentiation means providing students the level of support they need to complete a learning activity. Typically, we discuss differentiation in terms of the knowledge and skills of the content area. But in bilingual education, we need to add an additional consideration for language ability. In this video, we will focus on that language ability part. To differentiate for language ability, you first need to understand what learners at each proficiency level can do. My favorite reference for English language levels comes from Cambridge Assessment English. If you Google the following, Cambridge Assessment English Young Learners Can Do Statements, you should be able to find a PDF document with descriptions of what learners can do at the pre-A1, A1, and A2 level for all four skills. If you'd like to know more about levels at the B1 level and higher, then you can search for the CEFR descriptors. But if you have learners at that B1 level or higher in your junior high or high school class, I would say they should generally be able to handle any assignment you give them, at least in terms of the language needs. Though this is not necessarily true for the content. Once you are clear on these levels, you can start to create differentiated support for language in an assignment. I will use a recent example from two of my students in my class. They were demonstrating a lesson for a career planning class where their students would need to write an autobiography. During that class, we discussed 4 levels of support these future teachers could provide to their students. To begin differentiation, we start with our base task, that is, with no support. For this example, our directions would be to write an autobiography for a job application. Students who can do that will receive no extra support. We'll call this level 4. Which should work well with students at the B1 level or higher. Level 3 would provide some support at the discourse level through guided questions. Students using this support would be provided questions that the autobiography should answer, such as what's your name, or what school do you go to, or what are your hobbies. This should work well for students at the A2 level. Going down one level, level 2 would provide sentence stems for students to use to answer those questions. For the previous questions I gave, these sentence stems would be, my name is, I go to such and such high school, my hobbies are. Students would use these sentence stems as guides when writing on their own paper. This would be most appropriate for those at the A1 level. Finally, level 1 is the support that we would give to our students at the pre-A1 language level. For these students, the best we can expect is that they will produce single words or maybe some simple phrases in English. Writing an autobiography is far outside those abilities. However, we can still provide them with a paper that has most of the sentence patterns from level 2 already written out and simply ask them to fill in those blanks. We probably, for the purpose of evaluating content, would ask them to independently write an autobiography in Chinese. In the end, they will have engaged a little bit with English and shown their content mastery through Chinese. And frankly, this is the best we can hope for when students have very low proficiency and our content demands are high. Once these 4 levels have been created, you then need to decide how you will provide it to students. One way is you could distribute different papers to students based on their language proficiency levels. Those that you know have high proficiency can receive the level 4 paper with just the instructions, and others would receive the level 3, 2, or 1 as it fits their proficiency. Alternatively, you can give everyone the level 4 paper And let students choose the level of support they need. They can come to the front of the room and see the different papers that have the support, or they could scan a QR code to get additional level 3 or level 2 support. If you decide to go the student choice route, I would not provide them access to the level 1 paper. You would only reserve that paper for students who need it. And you would probably still give those students the paper directly. Of course, every assignment is different, but hopefully this example of differentiation gives you a starting framework so that you can differentiate assignments in your classroom. The most important point that I want to leave you with about differentiation is that differentiation does not mean individual assignments for every student, and it does not mean more work for some and less for others. Every student should be striving to achieve the same objective, but the amount of support you provide will vary depending on their needs. Thank you for attending my office hours. If you have a question that you'd like me to answer on this channel, send me an email at kmgraham@ntnu.edu.tw. I'll see you next time.